Hi guys! Welcome to my channel, my name is Angus and today we are going to watch Citizen Kane for the very first time. So, Citizen Kane. And we are back with another movie reaction here on this channel, and this time we are going way back to the 40s, 1941. And we are going to watch a Citizen Kane. Of course, Citizen Kane, made by the great Orson Welles. Certainly one of the greatest and most influential movie makers of all time. I mean, he was a jack of all trades, or rather master of all trades, because, I mean, what did he do? He did filmmaking, he did the writing, producing, radio. He did quite a lot and did quite a lot of stuff, extremely good. I think he has 2 stars on the Walk of Fame for radio and filmmaking. Things like Citizen Kane on the filmmaking side, and on the other side, on the radio side, his War of the Worlds iteration. So, extremely impressive what Orson Welles did. Yeah, a master of all trades. And Citizen Kane, another testament to that, because he directed the movie, he wrote the script together with Herman Mankiewicz, he produced the movie and he acted in it, and the movie it's really crazy. It's over 80 years old, this movie, and I don't know exactly what to expect. The thing with older movies, especially who are considered as some of the greatest movies of all time, is, of course, the question, why exactly are they considered as some of the greatest movies of all time? And it's not easy to understand always. You know, 1941, Citizen Kane, is it considered as one of the greatest movies of all time because of the sheer quality of it? Or is it considered as one of the greatest movies of all time because of the things that it did that nobody did before, you know, because of the advancement that it brought to the movie industry, you know, especially 1941, that was still the early stages of, movies, and therefore, not always easy to understand. Of course, the quality can, change through the years. Movies that were considered, very good or great, 40, 50, 60 years ago, maybe, do not hold up as good anymore because, standards have changed, and maybe also how we view movies and shows and whatever. So it's always pretty exciting to watch these older movies that are considered as greats to see, do they still hold up? Are they as good as people say? At least to myself, I can only, of course, view this from my own personal point of view. Therefore, I don't know. But it is, as I said, very exciting, and I am eager to see Citizen Kane for the first time and find out what is so great about it, to see if it is still as great as it was back in the day, and if it is as great to me as it is to other people, of course. And with these, I would say let's not waste any more time and let's just jump right into the movie. Have fun.
Rosebud.
Oh yes, right. Rosebud. Exactly. That's... Oh. Well. I guess he's dead? Yeah, that looks like it. So we start with a death scene. Rosebud, of course. That I forgot to say. I know about Rosebud and what it means, because it is one of the most often quoted things in movie and cinema history, I guess.
Charles Foster Kane.
Okay, so we start with his death.
Kane's empire in its glory held dominion over 37 newspapers, 2 syndicates, a radio network, an empire upon an empire.
Okay, that is quite a lot, yes. Grocery stores, money, money and more money. In the end, he probably did not know what to do with all this money, and he built his own mountain. That's what I call eccentric. Okay, so are we going to see his life, in flashback scenes? Would make, of course, sense, yeah?
And by the dangerous manner in which he has persistently attacked the American traditions of private property, initiative, and opportunity for advancement, is, in fact, nothing more or less than a communist.
No. Okay. For a communist, probably the richest communist in history.
He is today what he has always been, and always will be, a Thatcherist.
Ah, no, okay. So yeah, the one side thinks he's a communist, the other side thinks he's a fascist, and he's probably something in between. And for sure, he is, he's a capitalist. That is exactly what he is, or was.
No public man whom Kane himself did not support or denounce. Often support,
Then
then
denounce. Okay, oh, there he is with Mr. Hitler. Okay, yeah. Sympathetic guy, isn't he? A likable fella.
In 1916, as independent candidate for governor, the best elements of the state behind him, the White House seemingly the next easy step in a lightning political career. Less than 1 week before election, defeat.
Ooh. Well, but he surely was someone who wanted all and everything at the same time. Yeah. Okay, but it's certainly a very interesting way to, you know, show us his life, you know, in retrospective. The question is, will it stay this way?
Well, what do you think of the chances for war in Europe?
I've talked with the responsible leaders, the great powers, England, France, Germany, and Italy. They're too intelligent to embark on a project which would mean the end of civilization as we now know it. You can take my word
Good
for
one,
it.
yeah.
There'll be no war.
Thank you for that. That aged like, yeah, exactly. That aged like, I don't know, bananas in the sun.
An emperor of newsprint continued to direct his failing empire. Vainly attempted to sway, as he once did, the destinies of a nation that had ceased to listen to him, ceased to trust him.
It's probably hard for a guy who, was the center of attention for so long, to be forgotten. I mean, that is probably the hardest thing, you know, to be forgotten for him. Okay, and that's the end of the news report. Very interesting. Gives us a very good look and view at the person.
Rosebud.
Thompson.
Yes, Mr.
Hold this picture up a week. 2 weeks if you have
Don't you
to.
think right after he's dead, it might be
Find
better to
out
raise the
about
picture?
Rosebud. Get in touch with everybody that ever knew him.
Okay, so we're going to follow a reporter, a journalist, who's going to look into his life, maybe.
Rosebud, dead or alive. It'll probably turn out to be a very simple thing.
Yeah, quite right. As I said, I know about Rosebud, that it is his sled. Probably the same sled he used to hit this other guy with. But yeah, it was a very good beginning, a very nice beginning. And I can see how this was very influential. Especially to, I know that Scorsese said that this was very influential for him.
Hello, Mr. Ralston. She won't talk. The second Mrs. Kane, about Rosebud or anything else. I'm calling from Atlantic City. Then tomorrow, I'm going over to Philadelphia to the Thatcher Library to see that private diary of his. Yeah, they're expecting me. Then I've got an appointment in New York with Kane's general manager. What's his name?
Okay. So yeah, he has a busy schedule, certainly. I mean, yeah, he is supposed to talk to everybody. But yeah, that's a very interesting thing. Of course, a little bit, it's a little bit of a shame that I know what Rosebud is, because it is the whole thing about this movie, that they are trying to find out what Rosebud is. But I guess it's not problematic in the long run. Okay, then now we are getting real flashback scenes, I reckon.
That property is just as much my property as anybody's, now that it's valuable. And if Fred Graves had any idea all this was going to happen, he'd have made out those certificates in both our names.
However, they were made out in Mrs. Kane's name.
He owed the money for the board to the both of us.
The banks.
Okay, are they going to send him away, or is the mother going away with Charles?
Everything else, the principal as well as all monies earned, is to be administered by the bank in trust for your son, Charles Foster Kane, until he reaches his 25th birthday, at which time he is to come into complete possession.
Charles!
Okay, so they are just going to send him away. So, I guess that's not very good. That will be an important part of his life.
Mr. Thatcher's going to take you on a trip with him tonight.
And you are never going to come back.
You're going to live with Mr. Thatcher from now on, Charlie.
Ah,
You're going to be
okay,
rich.
cool.
Your ma figures, well, that is, me and her decided this ain't the place for you to grow up in.
You'll probably be the richest man in America someday.
Okay, so they are going to send him away because they think it will be better for him, because they don't have the resources, the place to...
What that kid needs is a good thrashing.
That's what you think, is it, Jim?
Yes.
That's why he's going to be brought up where you can't get at him.
Oh, I see. Good father, you know, a good thrashing. Well, different times, I guess, but still. Okay, and yeah, there goes his sled. So, still pretty traumatic for him, I reckon.
Dear Mr. Thatcher.
It's from Mr. Kane.
Go on.
Sorry, but I'm not interested in gold mines, oil wells, shipping, or real estate.
Not interested, naughty. One item on your list intrigues me, the New York Inquirer.
Oh, okay, so he only took over the newspaper and made his own fortune. Oh, that is very interesting. But yeah, things are moving at a very high speed here. But okay, yeah, it is definitely, that was one of the most traumatic things in his life, you know, being ripped out of his, you know, normal childhood, it seems.
Girls delightful in Cuba, stop. Could send you prose poems about scenery, but don't feel right spending your money. Stop. There is no war in Cuba. Signed, Wheeler. Any answer?
Yes, dear Wheeler, you provide the prose poems. I'll provide the war.
Okay, yeah. Because no war sells no papers.
As such, it's my duty, and I'll let you in on a little secret. It's also my pleasure to see to it that decent, hard-working people in this community aren't robbed blind by a pack of money-mad pirates just because they haven't anybody to look after their interests.
Okay, yeah, he likes to go against what other people want him to do.
You're right, Mr. Thatcher. I did lose $1 million last year. I expect to lose $1 million this year. I expect to lose $1 million next year. You know, Mr. Thatcher, at the rate of $1 million a year, I'll have to close this place in 60 years.
Okay, yeah, that's a flex, of course. You know, I have so much money, I can easily afford to lose this much. But there is definitely something changing, or something changed in the, you know, in the future or after that. This does not really match what happened later on, and, you know, the amount of money he had and what he did with the money, you know, because this private mountain, Xanadu, is definitely not philanthropic.
We never lost as much as we made. Yes, but your methods. You know, Charles, you never made a single investment. Always used money to buy things.
Yeah, well, I mean, isn't that what money is for? You know, of course you can sit on the money, but I don't know. That's not really what money is for, is it? Especially not if you have that much money.
If I hadn't been very rich, I might have been a really great man.
Ooh.
Don't you think you are?
Okay, that is some reflection on his character.
I think I did pretty well under the circumstances.
So he probably thinks, yeah, that he could have done better in his life. I mean, that was, yeah, 12 years before his death. Okay. So that's the first part.
Thatcher never did figure him out. Sometimes even I couldn't. You know who you ought to see? Mr. Leland. He was Mr. Kane's closest friend. They went to school together.
Harvard, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. So he had a close friend. Question is, was he still his friend at the time of death?
The first day Mr. Kane took over the Inquirer.
But yeah, as I said, it's a very interesting concept. This, you know, to tell this story in flashbacks, entirely of flashbacks.
Excuse me, sir, but I...
Welcome, Mr. Kane.
Okay.
Welcome.
I thought, what the hell? Why is there silence? Is that a library or?
I didn't know your plans, so
I don't know my plans myself.
I was unable to make any preparation.
Matter of fact, I haven't got any plans.
Well, it seems
Except
these
get out
people are a little
newspaper.
bit too conservative. Holy crap.
Oops.
How did you do that, Bernstein? Yeah, what I want to say, these people seem to be a little bit too conservative for what he eventually did, you know?
Here's a front-page story in the Chronicle about a Mrs. Harry Silverstone in Brooklyn who's missing. Now, she's probably murdered. And here's a picture of her in the Chronicle. Why isn't there something about it in the Inquirer?
Because we're running a newspaper,
Joseph,
Mr. Kane.
I'm
Not
absolutely...
a scandal.
Yeah, as I said, a little bit too conservative. and so I guess this guy will not really last long.
Mr. Carter, I want you to send your best man to see Mr. Silverstone in Brooklyn. Have him tell Mr. Silverstone if he doesn't produce his wife, Mrs. Silverstone, at once, the Inquirer will have him arrested.
Have him tell Mr. Silverstone he's a detective from Central Office.
Okay.
The Central Office.
Oh yeah, that is certainly a step further than I first thought. Yeah, okay. This is already pretty ruthless. Yeah, that's also a way to sell newspapers. You know, it's just, you know, like clickbait these days. You have nothing to say? Act like you have something to say.
I'll provide the people of this city with a daily paper that will tell all the news honestly.
Honestly? That's an interpretation, right?
And they're going to get the truth in the Inquirer, quickly and simply and entertainingly, and no special interests are going to be allowed to interfere with that truth.
Yeah, he's standing in the darkness there. That's nice symbolism. Yeah, but it's a clever way, you know, to make himself the news. We heard it before, and that he is, you know, this cult of personality, basically.
I'd like to keep that particular piece of paper myself. I have a hunch it might turn out to be something pretty important. Like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and my first report card at school.
Well, it certainly was in the end, I guess. I mean, about the life of Charles Kane, you could basically make a whole, you know, gallery, or fill a gallery, a museum.
The Chronicle's a good idea for a newspaper. Notice the circulation.
495,000. But Mr. Kane, look who's working for the Chronicle. With them fellas, it's no trick to get circulation.
You're right, Mr. Bernstein.
And that is exactly why we are going to take all these people to the Inquirer.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the Inquirer.
Yeah.
Make up an extra
Okay,
copy of that
exactly.
picture and send it to the Chronicle, will you?
So yeah,
Make you
now these are
happy to
all
learn that
working
our
for
circulation
him.
this morning.
That is impressive. 6 years, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. So, yeah, when you have too much money at your disposal. Exactly.
Who loves to smoke? Enjoys a joke.
Well, I guess it's Mr. Charles Foster Kane, isn't it?
He broke with wealth and fame. He's still the same. I'll bet you find another.
Still the same? I don't know about that. And if he is at this point, he will change.
Isn't it wonderful? Such a pot. What's the matter? Who says
I don't know, does he think that he's changing? You know? Maybe that's the problem for Leland here.
These men who were with the Chronicle, weren't they just as devoted to the Chronicle policies as they are now to our policies?
Sure, they're just like anybody else.
They are going there
They
where
got
the money
work to do,
is,
they
you know?
do
They
it.
don't have principles
Only they
themselves.
happen to be the best.
Oh, it's nice there in the background. Yeah, to see Kane.
If you thought I'd answer you any different from what Mr. Kane tells you, well, I wouldn't.
All right. World's biggest diamond. I didn't know Charlie was collecting diamonds.
He ain't. He's collecting somebody that's collecting diamonds.
I said it. When you have too much money at your disposal.
Townsend, I have been away so long, I don't know your routine. I've got a little social announcement. I wish you
Okay,
wouldn't treat it any
he
differently than
wants
you
to
would any
marry.
other.
He seems to be awkwardly nervous here. Yeah, I guess he met someone and he wants to marry someone. Alright, okay, so that is
She's the niece of
his
the
first
President
wife
of
to
the
be.
United States.
Yeah,
President's niece, huh?
yeah.
Before he's
The one that
through,
died,
she'll be a
right?
president's
Mm.
wife.
Okay, okay, so that was, yeah, so that happened in his time in Europe.
Maybe even he's dead.
In case you'd like to know, Mr. Bernstein, he's at the Huntington Memorial Hospital on 180th Street.
Why, you don't say. I had no
Nothing
idea.
particular the matter with him, they tell me. Just
old age.
Yeah, you were all young men back in the day, and now you're all old men. Or dead, of course. So, is he going to meet Leland?
I was his oldest friend, and as far as I was
Yeah?
concerned, he behaved like a swine. Not that Charlie was ever brutal. He just did brutal things.
Yeah, well, ruthless, I said it. He did not really care what happened to, you know, things in his path.
He had a generous mind. I don't suppose anybody ever had so many opinions. But he never believed in anything except Charlie Kane. He never had a conviction except Charlie Kane in his life.
Yeah, believe in yourself. You are the only source of truth, right? Leads you down a dangerous path, I would say.
Very nice girl, very nice. Emily was a little nicer. Well, after the first couple of months, she and Charlie didn't see much of each other except at breakfast. It was a marriage just like any other marriage.
That's a very bleak view on marriages, or on marriage as a whole.
You never should have married a newspaper man. They're worse than sailors. I absolutely adore you.
Oh, Charles, even newspaper men.
Was that when they only saw each other for breakfast? And that's the reason, because he was always working?
Charles, do you know how long you kept me waiting last night?
Oh,
when you went to
okay,
the
we are
newspaper?
seeing this whole thing deteriorating more and more, I guess.
Yes.
Really, Charles? People will think...
What I tell them to think.
But yeah, we also see him getting a lot colder here. Yeah, well, that's... of course, we don't know exactly how much time is between the first and the last scene here, but yeah. They got not much to say anymore.
Well, that's why he did everything. That's why he went into politics. It seems we weren't enough. He wanted all the voters to love him, too. That's all he really wanted out of life.
Oh, yes, because his parents gave him away, yeah? They basically gave him away, but, you know, sent him away, so... yeah. But it's interesting what he said, you know, he did everything out of love, because he wanted the love, but he had nothing to give. So maybe he was also afraid to give love. I don't know.
What are you laughing at, young lady? What is the matter with you, young lady? What?
Very charming. Charming first meeting.
See that?
What are you doing?
I'm wiggling both my ears at the same time. That's his smile.
Yeah, that's his party go-to trick, isn't it?
You really don't know who I am?
Well, you told me your name, Mr. Kane, but I'm awful ignorant, but I guess you caught on to that. You know, I bet it turns out I've heard your name a million times.
Yes, that's probably true, yeah.
No, I don't know many people.
I know too many people. I guess we're both lonely.
Okay, so that's probably also the reason why he liked her, because, you know, she did not know who he was and she still liked him. Yeah, it's probably nice, because if you are people, or if you are, you know, person of public interest, everybody knows you, nobody can really see you for face value. They just, you know, they know stuff about you, but they don't know you. So to have somebody who, you know, doesn't know about the stuff that everybody is supposed to know, and he still likes you, that's nice.
A piano?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's one in the parlor.
Would you sing for me?
Oh, you wouldn't want to hear me sing.
Yes, I would.
Well,
Well, don't tell me your toothache is still bothering you.
Oh, no, that's all gone.
Oh, yes, right. That's the second wife that he built this opera house for, right? 3 million to make her dreams come true.
With one purpose only, to point out and make public the dishonesty, the downright villainy of boss Jim W. Getty's political machine, now in complete control.
Okay. This looks uncomfortably familiar. But yeah, okay, so that was the time that he was that close to being the governor. And then this whole affair, yeah, came out with yeah, his then soon-to-be second wife.
The decent, ordinary citizens know that I'll do everything in my power to protect the underprivileged, the underpaid, and the underfed.
Well, we will never find out if that really was his, you know, his true intentions, or were his true intentions, and if he would have kept them.
My first official act as governor of this state will be to appoint a special district attorney to arrange for the indictment, prosecution, and conviction of boss Jim W. Geddes.
Okay, that is quite something, yeah. And I guess this Jim Geddes was also responsible for, yeah, getting this out to the public, this whole affair. to keep him out of office.
What's this all about, Emily?
May not be about anything at all.
Oh,
I intend to find out.
yeah, okay.
Where are you going?
I'm going to 185 West 74th Street.
Okay, yeah, she found out about it. Somebody gave her some information about it. I mean, yeah, and back in the day, that was bad.
Come right in, Mr. Kane.
Ouch. Yeah, that hit hard. So yeah, that is the end of their relationship.
This Mr. Kane makes up his mind by tomorrow that he's so sick he has to go away for a year or two. Monday morning, every paper in the state except his will carry the story I'm going to give him.
What story?
Are you that thick, really? Yeah, that's the question. Did he really do this or not? I guess not, because we heard it that there was this whole affair with the singer thing.
But everywhere I went from
There
now
seems to
on...
be only one decision you can make, Charles. I'd say it had been made for you.
I don't think so. He can still go the hard way.
No. I'm staying here. I can fight this all alone.
Charles, if you don't listen to reason, it may be too late.
Too late?
Well, he can fight it all, but he did not really win. No.
You decided what you were going to do, Charles, some time ago.
Yeah. I mean, with their marriage basically going downhill steadily over the last few years. He certainly is, yeah.
Crooked politician trying to save himself from the consequences of his crimes. I'm going to send you to Sing Sing! Sing Sing, get his! Sing Sing!
Slightly mad. But yeah, man of, I don't know. Yeah, I would say strong convictions, but we heard it from Leland, you know, he only believed in himself. That he, could not lose. But at least he had his principles. Okay, and that was when things went, started to go downhill for him, I guess. Because before all of this, he just went from win to win to win to win to win.
Count is still to be heard from. I'm afraid we've got no choice.
This one?
That one.
Yeah. Also awfully familiar. Oh.
Hello, Jedediah.
I'm drunk.
Oh, we can see that, yeah. You couldn't even crawl along a crooked line.
That's the way they want it. The people have made that choice. It's obvious the people prefer Jim Geddes to me.
You talk about the people as though you own them. So they belong to you.
Of course, their love belongs to him.
Charlie, I want you to let me work on the Chicago paper.
What?
Well, you said yourself you were looking for someone to do dramatic criticism. I am drunk.
Criticism, isn't it? Yeah. So was that the end of their friendship, ultimately?
I warn you, Jedediah, you're not going to like it in Chicago. The wind comes howling in off the lake, and gosh only knows if they ever heard of Lobster Newburg.
Well,
oh, well, that is a big problem, isn't it?
Anytime you say.
Thank you.
It seems he only wants to get away here.
Toast, Jedediah, to love on my terms. Those are the only terms anybody ever knows.
Well, but at least he's admitting it, you know.
We're going to be a great opera star.
Are you going to sing at the Metropolitan, Mrs. Kane?
We certainly are.
Charlie said if I just can't build me an opera house.
Yeah, and yeah, of course not, yeah. About that. So, I mean, she's not bad, but I guess not good enough, really, to be a professional opera singer. That's a very cool shot here, you know, to show us all the parts of the opera house, basically. But to be quite honest, she's not bad. I mean, if I would hear it, I wouldn't, you know, say that's bad or something, or not good enough. But of course, I am not someone who knows about opera.
We've got 2 spreads of pictures.
That's fine. The music notice on the front page?
Yes, Mr. King.
But there's still one notice to come. The dramatic.
Dramatic notice?
Oh, the dramatic notice from Mr. Leland.
Bernstein, that's Mr. Leland, isn't it?
Oh no. he's going to write an honest piece, I guess. Will that be the end of their friendship? That he's not, going along with his perception that his wife is a great singer. Perfect singer.
The notice. What's he written?
Miss Susan Alexander, a pretty but hopelessly incompetent amateur.
Ouch. Yeah. Not what he wants to hear.
Her singing happily is no concern of this department.
Ooh.
Of her acting, it is absolutely impossible to...
Go on.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. Her acting, that's something that we did not really see, but I guess, yeah, not good. Well, that's not going to go into the paper, would be my guess.
It represents a new low. Have you got that, Mr. Bernstein, in the opinion of this reviewer?
I didn't see that.
It isn't here, Mr. Bernstein. I'm dictating.
Well, Mr. Kane,
Get me a typewriter. I'm going to finish Mr. Leland's notice.
This reviewer is fired. But maybe, Mr. Kane, you have to come to terms with the fact that your wife just isn't made for this.
Hello, Charlie. I didn't know we were speaking.
Sure we're speaking, Jedediah. You're fired.
Of course, yes. Okay. That was somehow expected, yeah. I mean, his commitment is 100%. Alright, okay. So that was the end of their friendship. This whole thing with Susan, but called Susie, yeah. I said it is a nice thing he wanted to do this, but you can go too far. You know, you can't turn coal into a diamond just by pressing yourself, you know, it's just have to come naturally, so... Of course, maybe not nowadays, but...
He was really interested in my voice. What do you suppose he built that opera house for? I didn't want it. I didn't want to sing. It was his idea.
Of course his idea. Yeah, but we heard it from Lee and he wanted to prove something. Or maybe he thought it was for her, but in the end it was probably for him. Yeah. I said it, man. She's not bad at singing, but maybe not opera, you know? Something else.
The newspapers, for example. I run several newspapers between here and San Francisco. It's all right, darling. Signor Matiste is going to listen to reason, aren't you, Signor Matiste?
Or else he will write that he's the worst one and did bad stuff. Probably.
I thought you'd see it my way.
Yeah. Cool. Now his lesson is basically just sitting there and not say anything and say great at the end of it or what. Yeah. As I said, maybe not an opera singer. I mean, with what she can do, she could be a singer nowadays, definitely. People with much less talent have a great success these days. Just the wrong way of singing. Because, I mean, opera is still something completely different than normal singing. But I mean, of course, I don't know anything about opera singing, or very little. But that doesn't sound bad to me. At least not to the extent where I would say, ooh. I don't know. Yes. Yeah, I mean, yes, her acting. Yeah. It's not very interesting, entertaining, but that's not her fault, I guess. Oh yes, it's the GIF, the famous GIF, yeah. Yeah. Can't stand it to be proven wrong, right?
Continue with your singing, Susan. I don't propose to have myself made ridiculous.
Yeah, and yeah, there you go again, yeah. And there we see that this is all about him and was about him all the time.
With your singing.
Ooh, that's a nice shot. That's great. him towering over her, you know, the darkness like the devil himself. Yeah, but that's definitely pretty messed up, you know, to force someone to do this and to, yeah, ridicule herself further, even if she doesn't want to do this. She's still alive, barely. Did she try to kill herself? Oh yeah, looks like it. Well, yeah, if you push people too far. But yeah, I mean, it now seems pretty obvious why everybody went away.
I couldn't make you see how I felt, Charlie. But I couldn't go through with the singing again.
Yeah.
You don't know what it means to know that people are... that a whole audience just doesn't want you.
Yeah, that is exactly what he can't understand.
You won't have to fight him anymore. It's their loss.
Okay. Well, at least this. At least he accepted this.
Gee, 11:30. Shows are just getting out. People are going to nightclubs and restaurants. Of course, we're different because we live in a palace.
You always said you wanted to live in a palace.
Yeah, live in a palace, but not stay there all the time, right? So, and that is why she went away, I guess.
How do you know you haven't done it before?
Makes a whole lot more sense than collecting statues.
Oh well.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder. But you get into the habit.
I mean, look at this. This is not a living room. This is just, you know, I don't know. It looks like a church. And he has this single throne there and then a big fireplace. And one, you know, couch in the middle. I don't know.
It's just money. It doesn't mean anything. You never really give me anything that belongs to you, that you care about.
Susan, I want you to stop this.
I'm not going to stop it.
Right now.
You never gave me anything in your whole life. You just tried to buy me into giving you something.
Yeah. Sounds logical, because he always wanted to prove something through his actions with her, towards her. But yeah, I think the only night when they were, you know, when it was nice and happy, that was the first night they met.
Charles Foster Kane, whatever you want, just name it and it's yours. But you gotta love me.
Okay, so I guess that's it.
Don't tell me you're sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Neither will she be when she leaves you.
Have you gone completely crazy? Should know that our guests, that everyone here will know about this. Packed your bag, you sent for the car.
Left you? Of course they'll hear.
And that is probably the problem, you know? She could leave easily. That is not his concern. But, you know, what will the people think about it? Ooh, his guest.
Please don't go. Please, Susan. From now on, everything will be exactly the way you want it to be. Not the way I think you want it, but your way.
Too little, too late, Charles.
You can't do this to me.
I see. It's you that this is being done to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not me at all. Not what it means to me. I can't do this to you.
Yeah, I can't handle this defeat. Yeah, she will. And there she goes. Bye-bye. Yeah, that is the problem. You know, that in the end it always comes back to him. Me, 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 me. Yeah, and that will leave you with, nobody.
The old man acted kind of funny sometimes.
Sometimes. Quite a lot of times, I would
I
say.
know what to handle.
Need a lot of service?
Yeah, but I know
I mean,
what to handle.
just thinking about
Like the time his
what
wife
the
left.
nightmare it is to... What the fuck was that? Okay, that was weird. What I want to say, what a nightmare it must be to clean this place. You know, to keep it clean. Yeah. Lost everything. Lost the last person that, yeah, he cared about, probably. Oh, that's the I don't know what's the name is. Snowball. I don't know. The one thing that he had in his hand when he died. Ooh. Once again, very, very nice shot. A few very, very nice shots in there. Also shots that would be quite nice and impressive nowadays.
Palaces, paintings, toys, and everything. What would it spell?
Charles Foster Kane?
Or Rosebud?
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe just a desperate man.
You could have found out what that Rosebud meant. I bet that would have explained everything.
No, I don't think so. I don't think any word can explain a man's life. No, I guess Rosebud is just a piece in a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, that is quite true, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is also a great shot, you know, everything, and that's even better. His whole life, basically, or what's left of him after he died. I mean, but he never threw anything away, so this is his whole life in things. And what he said is quite true, you know, it did not really explain anything, not everything. It does explain anything, something. Explains that this is exactly what he thought of when he died. His childhood, childhood that was probably ripped from him. Or he was ripped out of. Therefore, changed his whole life.
Throw that junk.
Yeah, the junk. Yeah, it's very good. The one thing that he, or the very thing that he had to leave behind that moment when he had to go. Yeah. There it goes. All the worthless stuff of his life, and also the most personal stuff, I would say. Yep, and we are where we started. Alright, so that was Citizen Kane from 1941, and I have to say, this movie still holds up pretty good. Not only is the way the story is told very interesting and very nice, you know, told in flashbacks, told by other people, and then we see it in flashbacks, pretty nice. There are also a lot of great shots in there who are still, up to this day, very, very good and very cool. From my point of view, there's nothing in it that I would say, ooh, that is, you know, a little bit old-fashioned. From a filmmaking point of view, me personally, I would say you don't have to change anything. This is exactly how it would work too. Do it exactly like this and you would still have a great movie. Of course, you see that the movie is over 80 years old. That's just normal. But apart from that, how the scenes were shot, how it was directed, how the scenes were built, and how the story was told, this is exactly what would also work nowadays. Absolutely no doubt about it, and I can definitely see why so many filmmakers of nowadays and from before took inspiration from this movie, and as I said, this doesn't feel old-fashioned, and I can't even imagine how groundbreaking it was back in the day, you know, in the 40s. And it is definitely a masterpiece, no doubt about it. As I said, I can't fathom how groundbreaking it was back in the day, and still a very good movie. I enjoyed it quite a lot, and it's definitely a movie that you should see, and I am more than happy that I finally did watch the movie. And I have to say, Orson Welles is certainly a genius. The things that he did, you know, acting, directing, producing, writing the script together with Mr. Mankiewicz, just a great mind. I guess we all have to partially at least thank him for his work he has done, because without Citizen Kane and his work, things would be a little bit different, I think. And so Citizen Kane, in my opinion at least, definitely deserving of the title masterpiece here. To the story itself, it's of course a relatively simple story, a story of a man who rose to prominence, who rose to fame, who rose to money, wealth, and then at the height, everything went downhill slowly and he died alone. And this is just a nice story, a story that is always interesting because the people we are following are interesting, and to see who these people are, why they are doing things, and then exactly why is everything crashing down, why are they failing. And to follow this is always very interesting, and especially in a way that Orson Welles did it here. You know, this whole thing after his death. Okay, we know that he's dead, and now we have to know more about the person. So in this, right, we are following the journalist who's trying to find out who was Charles Kane. Who is he? Why did he do the stuff he did? And who did he know? Why is he exactly dying alone? Who is Rosebud? What is Rosebud? And yeah, it was a very nice story to follow all of this. And then in the end, a very nice summary of it. You know, the thing, if we knew what Rosebud is, then we would know everything, or everything would make sense. But the journalist said it, no, I don't think so. To sum up a man's life is not as easy as that. Rosebud is part of it all, but certainly not the solution, and does not explain everything. It explains something. It explains that he still valued this whole childhood that he probably did not really have, because his childhood was taken away from him. Of course, he had a childhood, but not the childhood that he was supposed to have, or the childhood that he probably would have liked to have, and therefore he became what he became. And in that regard, Rosebud symbolizes what could have been. What could have been for Charles Foster Kane if he was not taken away from his parents and his normal childhood. And that is, of course, a little bit tragic, and bittersweet, because, we saw how things turned out for him, and it certainly wasn't bad, but, his character could have definitely been better, and we heard it from himself too, a better person. He said it, he did pretty well, regarding the circumstances, but he could have definitely been a better person, a person that was not as self-centered as he was. And that also shows that this story is, once again, it is not the most elaborate story, but it is a very good story, and a story that is always working if the person we are following is interesting enough and gives us enough to work with and to think about. But yeah, that was my reaction to Citizen Kane from 1941. I hope you liked it, of course. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Also, if you like, follow me on Twitter. Link is in the description. And apart from that, I can only say have a nice day, stay safe, and I see you in the next video.